I think that writing is one of those things that you sort of feel compelled that you have to do. Even though it can make you miserable sometimes with writer's block and, oh, I'll never finish this book. It's sort of something that's just in my blood that I just feel that I must do. And as for my ideas, it's the inspirations come from all different places. I write about relationships a lot, so mostly inspired by, various relationships, friendships, observing husbands and wives and mothers and daughters, and then the actual kernel, the actual idea for a story really comes in unexpected places. I'll just very briefly tell you Heart of the Matter was, I was at a charity function and a young mother was talking about her child who was born with a birth defect, and how a surgeon, actually a South American surgeon, came, I forget the country, but he came to her and said, I'm going to save your son, and I know exactly, I've seen this before, and I can fix it. And I was pregnant at the time, and it was such a powerful story. It was so poignant to hear about her being sort of saved by this person who came into her life. And that was sort of the inspiration for Heart of the Matter, which begins, the very first scene in the book centers around a very tragic accident with a mother and her son. So it just comes in unexpected places. You never know when it's going to strike. I just try to write stories about real people experiencing real things, and I think that there's just certain universal, themes that I explore. The feeling that women have across cultural lines of sometimes having one friend that they're very competitive with, this like love-hate relationship, and women, regardless of age and culture, sort of say, oh, I have a friend like that. And infidelity, that happens across cultural lines. And so writing about the experience of infidelity on both sides, both a woman who's involved in the betrayal and then the woman who's betrayed, I think that we can, all relate to that. We might not have had, we might not have had an affair, or our husbands might not have done this, but we all have a close friend or our parent or someone who's been affected by it. So I just try to find these themes that resonate with me and my life experience, which isn't to say that I've experienced that one. But and then I think that it's been really nice to see how it's been received in various countries, including Brazil. It's just been wonderful to be here and meet the people and hear that the stories have resonated with women and men, but mostly women. Definitely. Well, first of all, why do I come to Brazil? It's a gorgeous country. I jumped at the opportunity, so that was easy. But in general, yes, I love the interaction with my readers because I love being around people, but as a writer, I spend most of my life alone in a small attic office writing. I see my children and family and friends, but as far as my career goes, it's very solitary. So it's wonderful to be able to, at various cycles of the writing, the life of a book, to then come out and meet people and realize that it touches them. And it's very motivating, too. I've seen that evolution from the beginning, from something borrowed. There wasn't this social media and this connection on Facebook and Twitter, and you sort of felt sometimes like you were alone. And this summer, when I had a very big deadline, crashing down on me, I would sometimes write, oh, this is how I feel, and to hear people, in various countries, and say, you can do it, you can finish it, we want to read it. It's very motivating to keep after it. And I made my deadline, and my reward was coming to Brazil. It was a very surreal experience, and that word is sort of overused and a lot, but that was really the most accurate description of how it felt to see these characters come to life. Because I wrote the book 10 years ago, right after 9/11. I moved to London and wrote that book in a year, and my only goal was to get it published. And to see it then be translated, as you said, in these languages, and then come to life, it just surpassed anything that I ever expected. And I think that I had very I was told by my professional circle that keep your expectations low. They always ruin books, you know, it won't be anything like blah, blah, blah. But I did have sort of lowered expectations, but I was so delighted with the whole process. That Hilary Swank was one of the producers, and she's so nice and very inclusive. They included me along the way of decision making, which isn't to say I had any real power, but they made me think like that my opinion mattered. And so we talked about everything, and it was a wonderful experience from start to finish. It really was.